Wait and see. You know, when you can't predict the future, that can be a good strategy. But wait and see isn't always a good strategy when it comes to your retirement. In these uncertain times, the decisions you make today regarding your savings and investments can have a huge impact on your retirement. Phillip Statler and the team at Statler Financial have seen the market at its highs, its lows, and everywhere in between. They know how emotional it can be for you right now. So here's what they're doing. They're clearing their schedule to talk with you on the phone or on a video call to listen to what concerns you have and then offer help. The number to call is 863-285-3815. They are local and independent advisors who can help guide you through this. Call Phillip Statler and the Statler Financial team now. 863-285-3815 and schedule your time for a phone or a video meeting with the team. Call 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Investment advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services, Inc. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
5.7 FM. Lone Stars there. It's 8:39 now. And let's check in on your money and find out what's going on Wall Street. Pretty darn good day yesterday, given the fact that we didn't have any overwhelmingly good news, but the markets all went up. Let's go down and see if we can't scope out what's causing the sudden spate of excitement. Check in with Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services. Good morning, Phillip. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. I just wish I could figure out what the market's liking, because it liked it a lot yesterday and is liking it more today.
I was searching through trying to figure it out, and the only plausible explanation I can come up with is that global markets are going up because they're pricing in a Biden win today, and that means more quietude on the trade negotiation front because everybody expects old Joe to be considerably more pliable as far as trade wars are concerned. On our side of the fence, just the probability that we're going to get a Democratic administration and the possibility of a Democratic Senate, I think you advanced the theory yesterday. That means the money for stimulus is going to flow like water out of a spigot, so it's got stocks happy on that front, too. Money isn't political, but it does like following the likelihood of more money happening, and that seems like the only plausible explanation I can come up with.
That's right. As a friend of mine says, money is agnostic. It just wants to make more. And so it doesn't care who's in the White House. It doesn't care who's in the Senate or the House. It just wants to find money that will make more money. And that's all they care about. So, so you're right. That's all they're looking at right now is how can we make more money?
I've always used the dating analogy. Money is just looking for other money to get together and make little money out of, right?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Pretty close to it. It's quiet. Probably there's only one real nightmare scenario that can happen. Obviously, President Trump has been relatively good for the stock market. The stock market's obviously excited with the flow of money over the likelihood of a Democratic regime. The only fly in the ointment that could happen is if we're still sitting here on Thursday saying we don't know who wins, because if there's one thing money doesn't like, it's not knowing which way to go.
You're right. The money does not like uncertainty, and there's definitely a reason to believe that it could be not just Thursday but Friday before we know. And some prognosticators think it could be even longer than that. Because it seems like Pennsylvania right now, it's like they're pointing fingers at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania could be a holdup because of the way they do things and how long they're accepting mail-in ballots and those type of things. So that will not be good for the stock market because it will raise a tremendous amount of uncertainty.
I don't really understand why the states that are doing mail-in voting don't do it the way ours are. I mean, ours have already gone through a machine, as I understand it, so our mail-in votes will be showing up on the tally almost as soon as the polls close this evening. So, late arriving ballots, they'll end up being counted later. And the states that have a couple of days in the process for those straggling in ballots, they'll end up being it. But we'll have a relatively decent picture as to which way Florida goes by the time the polls close tonight, up to a 64.4% turnout already on the supervisor of election site locally, by the way. It's going to be a big turnout election.
Yeah, I think it'll be a record breaker, really, in terms of election turnout today. But you're right. I mean, Florida, we'll have it down. And why don't other states do it like us? Why don't other states do a lot of things like we do, right? That's, we have no income tax. That's kind of not the norm, right? So there's a lot of things that we do, and we would believe that a lot of times we do things better than a lot of other states. So maybe they will learn something in the election from us.
Could very well be. I mean, we weren't exactly an example to the nation in the 2000 election, but we kind of got our poop in a group and have things relatively streamlined. I mean, there are those counties with their weird things. We heard the stories of Broward over the last presidential election, but for the most part, Florida's got our act pretty well together, and there are some other states that are suing each other over how long to accept the mail-in ballots after Election Day itself, arguing over when they should be counting the doggone things. And we're kind of sitting down here in Florida saying, well, what's you fighting about? The answer shouldn't be all that hard, right?
Yeah, we're sitting here scratching our heads, wondering, well, what's the deal? It seems pretty simple to you and I that, hey, Election Day is today. If it's not here, they don't get counted. But that's obviously not the way some of the other states have put their laws into place. So, but there's some stuff out there that, the only way that I think we don't have that kind of uncertainty is if for some unforeseen reason, I don't really see how it would happen, that we have a conclusion tonight that one side or the other has hit that 270.
Yeah, it's going to take pretty much a landslide electorally in order to have us, have certainty in the morning. And I suspect the stock market can live with a day of doubt. But if it lasts past the end of this week, some of my pundits that I was reading are talking about 20% drops in the stock market while we're arguing about the election results.
I've not seen that big of indication. Most of the folks that I follow say 7 to 10% decline if it's a contested election and it drags on for too long.
Yeah, it's going to be El Stinko if it happens one way or the other. Summarizing yesterday, big day up on the market yesterday. The Dow was up by 1.6%, up 423 points. NASDAQ up by 46. That was almost 0.5%. And the Standard & Poor's was up by 1.25%, up 40 points yesterday. It's almost like party time. We are doing earnings season, and I know you got some reports from companies that we've heard of as well.
We do. We have a couple of household names that people will recognize. Wayfair. Wayfair, I've talked to them off and on the last couple of years about Wayfair, and they had some trouble and weren't doing so well there for a little while. But man, did they surprise today on their quarterly report. They came in nearly, not quite, but almost triple the expectations of 80 cents a share at $2.30 a share. So a good thing for them. Revenue came in ahead of estimates. I guess people are staying home and shopping online, and that furniture and stuff just are rolling out to houses. So, they like that. They were doing well. I guess they have a membership. I didn't realize they have a membership group, and that grew by about 50% compared to a year ago. So they've got a lot of good things happening, and they're trading up today. They're a pretty high price stock. They're trading up 6.5% right now, which is $16.67 up to right now. It'd be $272 a share.
I didn't realize they had a membership deal either. Evidently, that business model is starting to take off. Everybody's following Amazon Prime on that, aren't they?
I guess so. I'm guessing you get some perks for doing it that way.
Yeah, understood. Other notions.
So the other one I got two more for you. Humana, the health insurance company, they beat by almost a little over 20 cents a share. Revenue was above estimates as well. They did give a little current quarter forecast, and they expect a loss this quarter, which I'm sure people aren't liking that. But the other thing is they've not really traded yet this morning. Nobody's interested in them this morning. So all we have is where they closed at yesterday, and they closed up yesterday 2.3%. So it'd be interesting to see how that starts off the day. They're a pretty high price stock, Dave. They closed yesterday at $408 a share.
Ooh, and with negative guidance, I'd expect a major sell-off. It's interesting that nobody's reacting to that.
Yeah, I agree. The last one I have for you is PayPal. Um, yeah, PayPal, they beat uh,
Oh,
by, I don't know, about 11, 12 cents a share. Their revenue came in slightly above what Wall Street had forecasted. Now, the thing with them is their year over year numbers are pretty sad. You know, what they did last year this time compared to this year is substantially less. Um, so I think that that's putting some pressure on them. They gave some current quarter guidance, and that was disappointing to investors also. And so they're trading down today 6.4%, a pretty substantial decline for them.
that kind of smart. It's another tidbit of earnings information that we don't have in because it's just guidance at this point. Everybody's seen the ads on TV talking about Roundup liability lawsuits. It's got some cancer connections to it. Bayer bought Monsanto some time ago, so they've kind of gotten stuck with the bill. They released an earnings warning this morning saying that they were going to show a $3 billion loss off of that Roundup lawsuit. I would imagine that Bayer stock probably is going to be under some pressure for the next 48 hours, wouldn't you?
I would think so, and definitely that's a pretty big write-off.
Yeah, even in a company that big, that's a big write-off. It hurts. That starts rivaling Boeing. Update yesterday, Fortune 500 all looking good. All the little companies on NASDAQ are doing well. How are we doing this morning, 45 minutes early?
We got a lot of green, but let me tell you this. I sat down with some folks last week, and I found this interesting, Dave. They've had a 401k for like 20 years, and they've never changed their allocations. They've just kept it the same. And now they are 5 to 10 years out from retirement. Those folks, you know, we need to be a little bit more cognizant of our allocations. Like today, we're up, but it hasn't always been that way, right? Last week, we were down significantly. So today, we've got the Dow up 1.4%. That's $380, pretty big jump following yesterday. We got the S&P 500 up 1.1, and we've got the NASDAQ up almost 0.7%. So good news on that front, Dave. Commodities are following suit today. We got silver up almost 1.3%, gold up 0.75%, and you're going to like crude oil. It's up 3.5%, Dave. $38.09 a barrel. I know we're not at 40 yet, but at least we're going the right direction.
At least it's heading in the right direction. Mentioned at the outset that foreign markets were happy with the likelihood of Biden's election simply on the grounds that it means trade negotiations were going to be a little bit more pliable on our end of the fence. Asian markets were up by over 1.5% at the close for the most part. European markets are having a party. The British markets are up by over 2%. German markets are up by almost 2% midway through their day. Phillip, you told the perfect story on that client of yours that hadn't made adjustments in a 401k in years. We're making money today, but heaven knows last month was ugly for that matter. How do I find you to get a look as to a strategy that could help my retirement?
Then give us a call at 863-382-0037, or they can go to our website, statlerfinancial.com. We've got a button there they can click, and it goes right to my schedule. And they can schedule an appointment. They can schedule a 15-minute phone call to kind of talk about their situation. We're available to help through this uncertainty that we're seeing now. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 730.
All right, streaming online at newstalk730am.com. And a reminder to everybody, please do vote. As of about 5 minutes ago, 2,800 of us have voted on Election Day already, and we're past bumping our nose on 65% turnout already. I think that's what we had in for the total last election.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that. Hey, let's get 70-80% participation, and that would be a good sign for our country. And hey, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow, Dave.
I do appreciate it. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler. Weddings.
Hey, folks, I want to remind you also that we did put up our rewind of our podcast or our webinar we did, and we put a copy of it on our website under events. You can go there and check out the webinar we did over the weekend called Decision 2020, How Might It Affect Your Retirement? Love to have you plug into that and just take a listen. So, hey, have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you today. Don't forget to vote if you have not done it so far. Until tomorrow, have a great day.